Starting in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Welcome, Titans. So my name is Austin Isaias. I am the Manager for Student Programs and Engagement here with ASI, and we're very happy to have you with the first installment of Beyond the Conversation. I first want to thank the Office of Student Affairs for helping putting this event on with us and sponsorship. Without them, we could not do this, and we are very thankful for all the contribution and the help and support for this event. Now let's get the night started with Danny Trejo. So to introduce our moderator, I want to welcome to the stage Lydia Kelly, our ASI president.
Hello, everyone, and now our student moderator, Christian Sanchez. He's been a part of ASI's Student Programming Coordinator for 3 years, and he's currently a graduating senior. He has worked on the operations for all of the Beyond the Conversations that we've had this last year, and we're so thankful that we get to see him today and moderate. Now let me go ahead and introduce, yes, Christian, let's give it up for Christian. Now let me go ahead and introduce our distinguished guest. Danny Trejo has developed a prolific career in the entertainment industry with a hard-earned and atypical road to success. From years of imprisonment to helping troubled youth battle drug addictions, from acting to producing, and now on to restaurant ventures, Trejo's name, face, and achievements are well recognized in Hollywood and even beyond. But it is his continuous role as a devoted father of 3 and an intervention counselor that bring him the most satisfaction. Trejo has starred in dozens of films, including Desperado, Machete, and Machete Kills. Danny played the character of Mr. World. Most recently, he can be seen in the role of Rancor Keeper in the book of Boba Fett, airing on Disney+. Additionally, Danny has voiced characters in the animation films Storks, The Book of Life, Maya and the Three, directed by George R. Gutierrez, and Universal Pictures' Minions 2, which came out last summer in 2022. Now let's put our hands together, Titans, and please give a warm welcome to Danny Trejo.
Thank you. Titans in the house!
All right, well, thank you so much, Danny. Thank you so much for being here on our campus. We're super, super grateful. We want to get to know your life. We want to get to know as much as you want to show, as much as you've learned, everything that you think would be important for us. So I'm going to start us off with a little broad question. Who is Danny Trejo?
This guy. You know what? Somebody that has just dedicated his life to helping others, period. That's all.
Man.
That's all I do.
Yeah, give it up.
And that's all everybody that I break bread with does. They just, that's what we do. We just dedicated our lives to helping drug addicts, alcoholics, mentally ill, anybody,
That's incredible. Thank you so much. I want to talk a little bit about how you grew up. You grew up in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Awesome. There you go. How would you describe growing up in Los Angeles?
Second-rate citizen. You know what? It's kind of. I went to Emerson Grammar School in Echo Park, and I got in trouble. I used to get in trouble a lot. I got in trouble, and they sent me to Logan, and Logan didn't accept. I went back to Elysian. Oh, it was Elysian Heights Grammar School, and then I went to Thomas Starr King Junior High School. I made it to the 10th grade. What's the first? The first one's the 10th grade. That now, because now they changed it. I got the 10th grade. I got in trouble, and I got sent to Texas for 3 years. And I lasted one summer because I didn't want to be anywhere where you have to shoot mosquitoes with a .22 rifle. You know? I came back. My mom and dad bought a house in Pacoima, and that's kind of where I grew up. From the time I was 12, 13, and I had an uncle who was my mentor, my Uncle Gilbert, and he was like the best guy in the world, just had a few flaws. He was a drug addict and an armed robber, and so I just kind of followed in that path.
Okay. Did you have any aspirations as a child, as a teenager, like maybe a dream job, a dream life?
Yeah, I wanted to be like a big dope dealer. You know, it kind of, I know people laugh, but kind of where, you know, when I grew up, it was, that, you know, my uncle turned me on to grass when I was like 8. You know, I had a fix of heroin when I was 12, and everybody else, all my other uncles were kind of angry, and you know, their main ambition, I gotta buy a house, damn it, and get a car. I mean, it was like they all worked construction, and they all were like sweaty and angry, and my Uncle Gilbert was just cool. I'm sorry, it was it. It was like, he impressed me a lot more. Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing that he did for me was he had time. You know, he just had time. My dad was, you know, my dad had to work. And, damn it, construction takes time. And so Dad was a very angry man. And my grandfather was construction, and my uncles, and, you know, beer drinkers and fighters, and Gilbert was just cool. You know, he just kind of laughed at everybody because we were loaded on weed, and that's the way I grew up. You know, and so juvenile hall, that's what you do when you're growing up like that, and then you go to camp, and that's what you do, and then you go to youth authority, and then you graduate and go to the penitentiary.
I see it, yeah. And you, I feel like you are a great representation of every part of your life has a lesson to be learned.
Wait, what?
Every part of your life has a lesson to be learned, you would say?
Yeah, but you pick the wrong lessons. You know, I'd rather work with grams and ounces than math. I don't know if that made any sense.
Could be the.
You know, it's a can of weed at the time was $10. You know, now it's, you know, that was an ounce, and so that's kind of what I did. You know, God, I was 9. I was rolling weed, you know, and stealing it from my uncle. And I know it's so funny because when I talk in front of a bunch of adults, I mean, you guys are adults. I'm sorry, but people from the generation before you guys, when I say my uncle turned me on to grass, they're kind of, oh my God. Right. And I didn't get no reaction out of you. Yeah, okay, we know, you know. I mean, because it's there, you know. I mean, it's like the problem now with marijuana, in case anybody knows, is that spiking it with fentanyl to make it stronger. So every time you smoke a joint, you're taking your life into your own hands. So it's no longer a yuck plant, it's a die plant, you know. I mean, it's that simple. And I hate to make fun of it, but that's why everybody's dying. It's like, and you know, fentanyl's no joke. It's like, boy, I've lost a lot of friends, you know, that, and you buy pills now online, you know, so that's kind of, wow, thank God. I just got rid of my flip phone, and people are buying pills online with fentanyl. Yeah.
So you say drugs and maybe some crime got you into juvenile hall. Would you explain maybe your first experiences in prison? Just generally.
Well, you know what? I think my uncle trained me to know how to react, you know, in all negative situations. You know, it's you know, because in juvenile hall, in any kind of institution, there's predators and there's prey. That's it. That's the only two kinds of people. You're either going to pay up or get paid, one of the two. You know, he, you know, if someone's, there's an etiquette to staring at somebody. You know, if you stare at them just a little too long, you're going to get some kind of, you know, if you're looking for your mother, she's over there, I'm done with her. You know, I mean, you're going to get some kind of negative response. And so he said, you know, just say that first. You know, the minute somebody looks at you, just ask them, you're looking for your mother, I'm done with her. You know? And people are afraid, well, people aren't afraid of tough guys, first of all. Tough guys, you just slap them in the mouth and they cry. Crazy people seem to be afraid of. It's so funny, man. It's a little bitty guy, homeless, right? Nobody wants to get near him, right? Big old guy, shut up, fool. You know, doesn't, you know, because crazy. So you learn that the crazier you can become, the easier life is in that situation.
Yeah.
So I got pretty crazy.
So your experiences in incarceration, I know there's a lot of TV shows out now. Would you say there's anything that accurately depicts some of your experiences?
Nah.
No? Yeah.
No, it first of all, incarceration is kind of like a warehouse for insanity. You know, you're breeding insanity, and there's rehabilitation. It's so funny because if I had a business and it had a 75% negative, like, you know, if I was making parts and 75% of my parts were returned, recidivism, I would go out of business. But in the case of the Department of Corrections, that builds the business up more. You know, it's like the 3-strike law. The 3-strike law was the best thing to happen to the Department of Corrections because now you've got a built-in population. They're doing life, you know, to where before they had a chance of getting out. Myself and Mario Castillo, one of the guys here, we helped pass the law that juveniles that got sentenced to life if they committed a crime before they were 25 years old have a chance to get out. In fact, my cousin Gilbert, he was the first one. If you look in the law books, Gilbert Garay Trejo, he got out. Now there's about 4,000 or 5,000 juveniles that are already done 15, 16, 20, 38 years that have gotten out.
Wow.
Because you're a different person. Oh, thank you. You're a different person when you're 16, 17, 18. You're a different person when you're 40. Mm-hmm. You know, you either learned your lesson or you're totally insane.
Yeah. And what was that for you that inspired you to maybe switch? Inspired you to, you know, now I think you work with inmates, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What inspired that?
Yeah, I was an inmate, right. But 1968, Cinco de Mayo in Soledad State Prison. You know, everybody thinks Cinco de Mayo means 5th of May. But if you're a real Mexican, it means you better get bail money. Because you're going to jail. You're going to shoot a gun. Your wife's going to stab you, or you're going to beat up a neighbor. Something you're going to do something because they invented tequila for Cinco de Mayo. You see, so And you get 1968, Cinco de Mayo in Soledad. It's a big riot. Me, Ray Pacheco, Henry Quijada got sent to the hole, and we had gas chamber offenses, so it was kind of like, uh-oh. You know, I was 24 years old, and I remember just asking God, let me die with dignity if I have to die, and if you let me die with dignity, I'll say your name every day, and I'll do whatever I can for my fellow inmate. I said inmate, because I didn't think if they didn't kill me, I wasn't getting out of prison. And then when I went to the parole board says, we're sick of you, Trejo. And because the case was a DA reject, I'm sorry. I always say DJ because I've been in the music, but a DA reject. The DA rejected the case, and when I went to board, they said, "We're sick of you, Trejo. Just get out of here. Bring us back a life sentence." What a I thought the parole board was, "Get out there, kid. Do good. Get a job. Bring us back a life sentence." And it kind of like hit home, and I just got out and just, like I said, I dedicated my life to helping others. That's what we do. And everything good that has happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else. Everything.
Yeah. So then, how did you end up in Hollywood?
Helping somebody. Really. It's like, I was helping this one kid, and he was being an extra. And one night, he had said, "Hey, come on down." And I didn't, but then he was clean, and he called me, and he said, "Hey, Danny, I got 108 days clean." And you got to remember, it's 1985. Cocaine was rampant in Hollywood. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, you walk into the production trailer, and they had lines on the, okay, now sign your contract. And so he called me and said, "Hey, there's so much blow down here, man. Can you come down and hang out with me?" That's what I do. 11 o'clock at night, I drank enough coffee. I wasn't going to sleep, so I went down to Dogtown in L.A., and it was an old warehouse, and I walked onto this warehouse, and it was a movie of a movie called Runaway Train with John Voight and Eric Roberts. And I walked onto the movie set. It was the cutest thing you ever saw in your life. It was like all these guys were dressed like convicts and just cussing, "Hey, get out of the way, fool, watch out." And in prison, you don't do that. He might be a killer, I mean, it's like, you got all the bad apples in one place. You better be polite, and I don't mean polite like a kiss ass. I mean polite like, "Excuse me." You can say, "Excuse me," threatening, what I mean? And you better, because if you excuse me, they'll take it as a sign of weakness. So, but I just thought it was funny, man, and I kept smearing they all had tattoos. I just kept, "Oh God, I'm sorry, I better get some better ink," because they all had fake tattoos on, and 5 teardrops, and so I'm standing there, and this guy comes up and says, "Hey, do you want to be in this movie?" And I said, "What do I got to do?" And he says, "Can you be an extra?" I said, "Extra what?" He says, "Can you act like a convict?" No. Soledad, San Quentin, Folsom, Vacaville, Susanville, Sierra, Tracy.
You got a resume.
Yeah, and I said, "I'll give it a shot." And they gave me a blue shirt, and I took off my shirt. I got a big tattoo on my chest. Anybody that sees it says, "Oh, he was in prison." He's not like I love the Marines or nothing. And so I'll never forget, he goes like this. I'm trying, what stupid gang sign is that? You know? And he says, leave your shirt off. So I'm standing there without a shirt. And this other guy comes up. I recognize. He goes, hey, you're Danny Trejo. I go, yeah. He's Danny, I saw you win the lightweight and the welterweight title up at San Quentin. I go, yeah, you're Eddie Bunker. I was in prison with this guy. And Eddie Bunker was the captain's clerk in San Quentin. That used to be the most powerful position in prison, other than the warden, right? Because the captain's clerk can send a guard, you got night watch, and give it to, and you know, what do you say, the warden just signs, yeah, the captain just signs stuff, doesn't really look at it. And all of a sudden, this guard is watched out in the bay from 12 to 6 at night. And if you want a cell change, he'd help you with the cell change for enough money. And we started talking, and he said, are you still boxing? I go, hell no. He said, I'm 40 years old, fool. And he says, we need somebody to train one of the actors how to box. And I said, what's it pay? Because they were going to give me $50 for acting like a convict. And we both laughed because we'd been doing that for free forever. You know? And he says, it pays $320 a day. And when he said that, I said, how bad you want this guy beat up? You know, no, come on. I wouldn't make it $320 a week as a drug counselor. And he said, no, you got to be careful. This actor's really high-strung, Daddy. He might sock you. I said, Eddie, for $320 a day, give him a stick. Are you crazy? I've been beat up for free. I started training an actor named Eric Roberts how to box for a movie called Runaway Train. And Eric respected me, and he wanted to learn how to box. So the director kind of saw that. And I'll never forget Andrei Kozlowski, a Russian aristocrat. First, Runaway Train was his first American movie. And he goes, Danny, you be in movie, and you fight Eric in movie, and you be my friend. I'll never forget that. Now, if you have a prison background, you don't like people saying, you be my friend. So I got ready to say, well, what does that mean? And then he leans over and he kisses me on both cheeks and walks away. I looked at Eddie and I said, Eddie, hey, I'm going to train the kid for $320, but if I'm going to be kissing that old man, I want more money. When I found out what that old man did for me, giving me a part in the movie and giving me a SAG card, I had to come over and wash his back. I couldn't believe it. It's like my whole life changed as far as employment. I worked almost every other week as an actor. That's like I'd go for 2 days, and I was like a glorified extra, but I'd be there, and the director would say something, hey, Danny, say something prison-y. Hey, we'll kill all of you. Oh, my God, that was great. You know. And it was funny, but I just kept working. I worked all the time. Yeah. I think from 1985 to 1991, I was in every prison movie made. Wow. Get the guy with the big tattoo. And in fact, they took a picture of me to Cannes in 1991, and they were saying, hey, we got this movie with Danny Trejo. Who? This guy with the, oh yeah, you know, because people recognized my tattoo before they did me. And I just kept working, you know. And in fact, I did a movie called Penitentiary 3, and the first time I had a name, because usually I was bad guy, Chicano dude, tattooed guy, mean guy, killer, and the first time I had a name was in a movie called Penitentiary 3, I think, and my name was Severe. And the next movie, I played Art Sanilla. I was an Italian. Well, I know, stereotype, I know, don't get mad at me, but they they cast me, and I got to wear a suit. The first time I ever had my shirt on, you know, and I had a suit. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. And I played Art Sanella in a movie called Death Wish 4 with Charles Bronson. I thought I'd made it. That's it, Jack. Bronson, come on, man, you know. And he was one of my heroes. He was exactly like my uncle. Same, it's kind of that guy that talks about, like if he says hello, you don't know if he's gonna hug you or slap you in the face. He's just got a way about him that just kind of, you don't mess with, you know, that's all. Just,
You know, I'm super curious. You keep getting typecasted in these stereotypical bad roles. Did that ever have like a negative effect on you?
let me tell you, the first time I ever got interviewed by a little girl, probably fresh out of interview school, I don't know. But she says, Danny, don't you feel you're being typecast? And I says, what do you mean? She said, well, you're being stereotyped as the mean Chicano dude with tattoos. I'll never get that. And I thought about it, and I said, lady, I am the mean Chicano dude with tattoos. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm making $320 a day. I'm opening doors for every Mexican behind me, and the lady is worried about me being typecast. You know, I didn't understand. You know, I mean, if they, thank God they're not putting a tattoo like this on Ricky Schroeder. You know, and it's funny because I've watched old movies. There's a beautiful movie. Oh my God, it's Mexican history. It's called Viva Zapata. It's a beautiful movie, except for Marlon Brando plays Zapata. The first T-shirts that came out, I remember in Boyle Heights in 1973 when I went to work for the Narcotics Prevention Project. The first T-shirts that came out had Marlon Brando's picture as Zapata, and it's like, what are you doing? And they changed them and put finally Zapata, you know, because everybody thought that was Zapata, and Zapata was a hero, right? And then there's another great movie. It's called Valdez is Coming, but Valdez, I think, is Kirk Douglas. They missed the boat again. It's a great movie. I don't know if it's Kirk Douglas. But it's definitely a white guy, and it's. You know, the movie would have been a great movie, but it is a great movie. Whoever did it was a great actor. But it's just like, when I was like, I don't know, 13, 12, when I seen Viva Zapata, I felt hurt. Yeah, and I don't even know why. Dude, I don't even know why, but I felt like, wait a minute, man, he's not Mexican. Yeah. And I knew how Zapata was when I was 9, you know. And I knew it wasn't Marlon Brando.
No, yeah, representation is huge.
So, you know what? So, yeah, I did. I was typecast, stereotyped, and everybody, and it's okay, because I did Machete. And you know what? I got to tell you, I started crying on Halloween after we did Machete. It was so unbelievable when, like, Halloween, knock, and I opened the door, and there's these little kids dressed like Machete. Oh, my God, they weren't Superman, they weren't Batman, they weren't a white dude. They were like a little, hey, I'm Machete. God, man, I loved it. Yeah.
What did you want people to take away from those performances? From like performance like that?
Like what did Cesar Chavez say? Si se puede, we can do anything we want.
Yeah.
Do you understand? The sad part is we don't, you know, a lot of us don't get together, and I don't want to say they, okay, but situations keep us separate. That's why we got barrios, you know, that's why we got yeah, soy de aquí. The worst 3 words in the Mexican language, Latino language, is Where are you from? I might be from the next block and get shot. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, wait a minute, man, there's some way where we have got to like just come together. We are, what is it? 75% of the buying power. Do you understand? It's like, wait a minute, man. We got, and I know, I understand there's a war in Ukraine. Terrible, bad. But immigrants, oh yeah, no, bring them. But we got a war going right there in Mexico. Do you understand? We got immigrants all right there trying to get in. Mothers are dropping their children, and everybody, oh, how could they do that? Because they don't want them trafficked. That's why. They don't want their daughters at 6 years old to be pulled and sent to Iraq, Iran, or wherever. You know, so there's a war there. Oh God, shut up, Trejo, you're gonna get in trouble. But so you understand, so we're fighting that war. You know, that's the war I'm fighting, and believe me, man, I've donated to Ukraine, I've done all that, but wait a minute. The people right there at our border were there first. I'm sorry, man, and they're brown. And I was in Ukraine, and they were great. They're all great. I was in there. I did a Comic-Con there, and it was great. And but it's just not right. It's just, wait a minute, man. When we went, and I was trying to get into to entertain the kids in Pomona when they had all the immigrant kids there. They still got them, and it was like a political football. It was like nobody wanted to mess with them because, you know, everybody was like, wait a minute, we don't know what they're going to do. So I tried to get in, so I called Governor Newsom, and I said, hey, Holmes, what's up? Let's do it. And so he called some people, and then we went and they let us in. We got to entertain the kids there. And the people were telling us as we went in, some of these kids haven't even talked. They haven't smiled, because simply they're in a different country and don't even know the language, you know what I mean? And they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. A lot of them were girls because the girls are the ones being targeted. So we went there, and my one singer, Tara, she killed it, right? And then Jasmine Amora, who looks like Selena, sounds like her, she started singing Como la Flor, and the kids jumped up and started screaming and yelling. It was the people that were there started crying. They couldn't believe it that these kids were laughing. Mira, parece Selena, and they were like just like in love. And we stayed there, I don't know, most of the day, and I took some other singers, and it was just like so unbelievable. And then we went to Long Beach and did there. We went to Texas, but they were like, the governor didn't like me.
Well, tell us more. You said she's your singer, right? You have a music business?
I have a record label, Trejo's Music, and we just dropped it. Hey, and I told you, everything good that's happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else. There was a kid about 5 years ago, I think, that was killed up in Lancaster. A little kid named Gabriel. And mom and boyfriend were meth addicts and tortured him and killed him. It was sad, right? And put on a fundraiser to kind of bury him, and we were given a $300 prize to, or 200, I don't know, to singers, just sing a song if you win. And this little girl came and sang, and damn, her mom was living in a battered woman's shelter with her, and they hitchhiked from L.A. to Lancaster, and they sang, and she sang. We started talking to her, and I said, okay, we'll start a record label, because I like the way she sang. And right now I got Trejo's Music, and we've dropped 2 albums so far. We're getting ready to drop another one. It's Trejo's Soul Collection, kind of like Soldi's. You know, Soldi's music, you know. And the one before was, I forgot. What's the name of the other one, Mario? Oh, Trejo's Soul Shop. That's right. Thank God he knows. But they both did real well. This was doing pretty good, and we're getting ready to drop another one. Jasmine sings like, God, who sings at last? At last. Etta James, right? And Tara sings like Celine Dion. What's it, Celine Dion? Celine Dion, yeah. And so they're great. Yeah.
You actually, that's not your first business though, right?
Now,
What's your first business?
I have 4 restaurants. And that, again, that happened, you know, like, oh, yeah, Trejo's Tacos. Hey, not only do you get to hear me talk, after this, you get to eat Trejo's Tacos. And remember, I said everything good that happened to me happened as a direct result of helping someone else. I was waiting, like I had to wait a month to get this one movie for a lot of money. And my agent, Gloria Hinojosa, she had this movie, it was like a low budget movie, right? And she said, this could turn into something. And I'm trying to tell her, yeah, but hey, check this out. We got dinero coming over here. And low budget, well, no budget movies, that give you like a sandwich and a ride back and forth, you know, and so you get a little bit of bread, but like, you know, wait a minute, come on. And if I took this one, the low budget, I'm probably gonna miss that one. So we argued, and then don't argue with women, you can't win. It's like, it's just stupid, you know. No, I'm sorry. It's like, you can't. No, and so, you know, like women, a lot of times when you know you're like really, okay, go ahead. No, fine, go ahead. Don't, just do it. Do whatever you want. I don't care. No, just do it. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Go ahead. Go ahead. All right. We'll do it. So I do this silly ass movie called Badass. Turns into a trilogy, right? 4 times the money that I was going to make. So she called it right. I never heard the end of it. But I meet this producer, Ash Shaw, who had been in the restaurant business. And he saw that I like good food. I don't eat processed food. I'll eat. That's why Trejo's Tacos, we got vegan, we got vegetarian, we got gluten-free. You can bite into a cow if you want to. We got all, you know. And he worked it. He said, Danny, why don't, because he saw me, you know, in a low-budget movie, sometimes go get Jack, 40 of them, you know. And so I would either bring my own salad or lunch or order something, you know, healthy. And he said, why don't you open a restaurant? Yeah. And jokingly, I said, Trejo's Tacos. Because in the 50s, women didn't work, you know, and no strike. Don't start writing letters. Not my idea, but they didn't, right? And my dad came from 5 brothers, and so none of their wives were. In fact, if their wife worked, and we were at like a barbecue, they go, Art, you want a beer? Oh, hey, Bonnie, can Art have a beer? You know, because she worked. So that's the humiliation you had to go through if your wife worked in that family. So I thought that's rank, you know, but, you know, that's the way it was. So every time I wanted to piss my dad off, I would go, hey, Mom, what about that restaurant we want to do? What do you want to call it? And hey, I got O'Keefe and Merritt right there. Go cook whatever the hell you want, man. I'll pay you. Because women didn't work. It's just that simple. It was a strike on your manhood. And boy, I'm glad that changed. And so I told him, Trejo's Tacos. So we did Badasses, and Badass on the Bayou with Danny Glover. You want to see good movies, go watch them. And when we did the third one, Ash brought me a business plan. It had about 12 pages. I opened the first page, then no killing. I gave it to Gloria. Check that out. She kind of said, it's a no-brainer. It's the first time that somebody's not asking for $100,000 up front for you to sponsor this or do that or do that. I said, I got 4 restaurants right now and a donut shop. Yeah. And if you go in the donut shop, try the pineapple fritter. But remember, you can only eat one. If you eat 2, you need rehab. Honest to God. God, that's good. Yeah, you'll be on the corner. Give me some money for it. I gotta get it. I gotta get a pineapple fritter. But that's, again, everything good that's happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else.
Right. The restaurant industry, very tough.
Doing great. And you know what? It's like most restaurants die the first year.
Yeah.
Especially celebrities think they can open a restaurant and their name, and then they go back to Florida or New York or wherever and just leave it. But I eat there. You know what I mean? No, give me something, and so I know it's good. You know, I get to eat for free. You know?
Yeah.
You
You know, a lot of students want to start their own businesses.
What's
Do
so
you have
funny
any
is
advice for them?
sometimes I send like my friends that go see how the service is. They go in there and they order, and my staff, Danny, stop sending your friends in as spies. The guys with the tattoo on their neck is like, we know it's your friend. You know. So
I was saying, do you have any advice for students wanting to start their own businesses?
perseverance, and sky's the limit with education. Remember that, man. Sky's the limit. Education is the key to anything you want to do, anything. And I think drugs and alcohol will kind of ruin your life. You know, period. That's all. I mean, that's the best advice anybody can give. You know, my family. I don't know about yours, okay? My family was subject to alcoholism. I don't know about yours. You know, I'm telling mine. You know, subject to alcoholism. My dad was a functioning alcoholic. You understand? My mom was anything my dad wanted her to be. It was just ridiculous, you know. And my uncles, they were all functioning alcoholics. Yeah. You know, that's why nobody had a liver by the time they were 45, you know. But so I would suggest that if you see people in your family drinking too much, it might be, wait a minute, could I be an alcoholic? Could I? Well, it's easy to know if you're a drug addict. Yeah, it's very simple. If you're taking drugs, you know. Any questions?
What advice do you have for people dealing with addiction or know someone dealing with addiction? What can they do?
Get with somebody that's clean. We got Alcoholics Anonymous, we got Narcotics Anonymous, we got church, we got anything you want. You understand? There's helplines all over. And right now, Mario and I are dealing with guys that are getting out of prison that were drug addicts, right? And they've already done 35 years, and all they know is drugs. And families are all gone. You know, so it's like coming out of prison hopeless and trying to build hope. Wow, that was serious. Everybody got quiet.
Well, we're running out of time, but I do want to run some quick lightning questions. I know you understand. We'll just go through these questions really, really fast. Okay. They should be fun. Can you talk about your foundation, actually, first? You have a foundation, is that correct?
No, I got restaurants, and we help anybody that needs help, and we work with every foundation. We work with Polly's Project, which feeds the homeless and gives them blankets and does all that. We work with everybody downtown. We work with any drug addict. I still work for Western Pacific MedCorp, and what we do is detoxify drug addicts. You know, so anybody that's having a drug problem, you can call up Western Pacific Med, and we got detoxes.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? You're an actor, activist, entrepreneur, anything else?
I want to be a record mogul, whatever that is. I don't know. Like I was going to say, Suge Knight was my hero, but no, never mind. He was a friend of mine, but he disappeared.
Now, what profession would you not like to do?
I don't know. I mean, the only profession I ever had was an armed robber and a drug dealer, and then I went to prison, and then I became a drug counselor, and was a drug counselor for a long time. Anything that has to do with people, you know, that's what I want to do, and I don't think I'm cut out to sit in an office. In fact, when I was in junior high school, they put me, Malcolm Armendariz, Gary Hale, and Mike Cerna in one class because we were the bad kids. And by the end of the month, there was like 20 of us in this one class. And I worked with autistic children. And now I realize that everybody in that classroom was on the spectrum. We all had some form of autism. And I told my daughter, I don't. She said, Dad, you could be a poster child for ADD. You can't sit still. Why do you think we love being with you? Because we knew we didn't have to stay anywhere too long. Yeah. So it's like I don't know. I don't know anything I wouldn't want to do.
Okay, yeah. Now, last one. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? What would you like to hear God say to you?
Thank you so much, Danny. I'm going to pass it over to Austin and Kia so they could get some audience questions real quick. Thank you.
One more time for Danny Trejo. Okay. So I'm going to take a couple of questions. We'll do a couple questions here. So come see me. Morgan, come over here. You, sir. You too.
Hi, Danny. Hi. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Simple question. It is a little bit of a task. Can you show everyone your outfit, especially the inside of your jacket?
Woo!
I can't stop carrying machetes. I'm sorry. But G Memo, the guy that makes my suits, he puts that in there, so that's kind of cool.
Love it. And those the machetes right inside, glitter.
Hi, Mr. Trejo. I just want to say, first off, it is such a great honor to meet you, and I love your work, especially your filmography. I remember your roles. You were voicing for a special character in Rick and Morty. You also did
Jaguar.
You also did Tortuga in Breaking Bad, which is actually one of my favorite shows. I guess this question I have to ask kind of comes personally from me because I go to this school. I'm a second year. I'm actually a film major. I would like to get into kind of the Hollywood industry, kind of where you are right now, and seeing as how much of an amazing work you've done over your life. Not only you're in the Hollywood industry, you have your own restaurants, you have your own record label, you've done all these amazing things. And the one thing I kind of want to ask is, like, what kind of advice would you give someone like me, like especially when they want to enter the film industry?
I think the hardest part for people, I don't care how much college you have, and college is important, school education is important, but in the movie industry, you've got to get there. And it's like, I tell people, go be an extra and just do what you do, and you'll start. My son, Gilbert, I have a son named Gilbert, and I used to take him to sets with me all the time because I wanted to be a beautiful kid, right? I wanted to get him in the movies, Secretly, he learned camera, he learned lighting, he learned everything. I mean, he could make a movie by himself. Right now, he just got into the DGA, Directors Guild of America, and he's like, he does he did a commercial for Google. Yeah, and then they hired him. And then he did he does a lot of music videos, you know, and in fact, he shot that little kid that just got killed in where was it? Chicken and Waffles, that little rapper. He did a video in my backyard, you know, and then like 2 weeks later they killed him. But I'm sorry I said that, but that's it. You got to get in there some kind of way. Find a way to get onto movie sets, do your job, whatever it is, and it's like people will notice you. Oh, you know this. Here, well, give us a hand over here. Give us a hand. All of a sudden, you've got where you're supposed to be. But people, a lot of times, if you go to college, you're expecting to, okay, well, here I did this, jump right in, and it's like you got to earn your stripes.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Trejo. Sorry if I'm feeling nervous right now. It's just that this is like meeting Mickey Mantle for the first time or whatever. But I guess what I wanted to ask is that, like, I know the story of like American Me and like what you did to like counsel in it, like be in it or whatever. But I guess my question is about like one of my favorite movies and one of my father's favorite movies is that how did it feel working on the set of Blood In, Blood Out?
You know what? First of all, I canceled out American Me. Eddie had asked me to work on it, and I kind of like just didn't like where he was going with it, you know, and I knew there was going to be problems because I grew up with all the guys he was going to portray, you know, and I like the fact that in Blood In, Blood Out, we called the gang La Onda. You know, he called the gang Mexican Mafia. You know, so it's like, wait a minute, man, I don't have permission for them, and I don't care. I would rather have a mangy dog for a friend than an enemy, and I'm definitely not going to disrespect a mangy dog. So, and I'm not calling the Mafia mangy dog. Don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah. But like I knew these guys, so I wasn't going to disrespect them. So it's so funny because he got in a lot of trouble for that because he disrespected a lot of people, and a lot of people died. And so when we did Blood In, Blood Out, we chose to call it La Onda, you know. And it's so funny because when I walk into clubs or into East LA or wherever, sometimes where there's some members, it's like so funny because they'll say La Onda, and I go, shut up, fool, you know, because it's like you know, like I said, is I respect everybody, and if you'll notice, after that movie, American Me, he didn't work for almost 3 years, you know, and the sad part, the only job that he could get right now is the only Latino show that we have on TV called, it's an outlaw motorcycle gang, the Mayans. I love, you know, it's like, I'm glad.
Love the Mayans.
I'm glad there's Chicanos working, you know, but again, you know, how come we can't have a banker story or some kind of other than a negative? You understand what I'm saying? Other than, you know, an outlaw motorcycle gang. But like I said, I love some of the people that are working on that, and that's what we got to do.
Thank you. I'm sorry, everyone. We only have time for one more. We only have time for one more question. I'm so sorry.
Bienvenidos a Cal State Fullerton Machete. My name is Alan Ruelas. I have a question. So talk to me about breaking barriers and how you are keeping the momentum in staying very active and with such a competitive industry, especially being, you know, a Latino. You know what I mean?
I didn't.
How are you staying active and breaking barriers, specifically as being a Latino in the industry?
As far as breaking barriers, if I do a film, I want to know how many Latinos are on it. You know, and that's all. You know, it's like you know, I can't wait till they call me for Friends, or or Seinfeld. You know, but so it's like I think that's like a slap. for everybody, you know what I mean? And I just, I want to see more representation too, but like I said, if I get a movie, okay, let's see, oh yeah, that's my co-star, cool. Oh yeah, cool, yeah. How many Sanchez's we got? Yeah. Hernandez's. Go ahead, young lady, you're next.
Okay, we got her.
Hi, I just wanted to say, hello. You're the greatest, and I even brought this picture of you in Spy Kids because it's one of the greatest movies.
Thank you so much.
After my question, I would be so honored if you signed it because I love you in that movie. Latinos get emotional. But I wanted to ask for anyone who's interested in helping with their community and just giving back, what would you suggest as to where they would be able to start?
You know what? Thank you, but I honestly believe that's what we all have to do. Do you understand? That's what we all have to do. It's like, yeah, I'm a celebrity, so I can lend my name to this, that, and this, work with autistic, do all that. But we can help people in our neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Like during the pandemic, we'd go, the old people, hey, you need anything from the market? And they'd give us money to go. So they trust us, and I can remember, I'll never forget, I had a good friend of mine, Jimmy and Joey, they were staying with us, and the lady next door came over and said, you know what, Danny, would you give Danny these keys? Would you tell him to please watch the house because we're going away for the weekend, but take care of the cat? And it was so funny because Angel came back and he was only out of prison about 4 months, and he goes, does that lady know that everybody in this house has been busted for burglary at least once or twice? And then, yeah, but we don't do that. And literally, Joey and Angel would walk her perimeter every night, and the cat got fat. You know what I mean? But God, I want to thank all of you for your questions and being polite and doing everything, man.
Thank you so much, Danny. So, for the students who want this selfie, I want you to come up to the stage here. Anyone who wants to get a selfie will get in a big group photo. And then the photographer will be behind. So everybody look in the opposite direction, look away from Danny. So we're gonna do a big group photo.
I'm from LA, East LA.
Watch your glasses. Okay, start spanning out. Turn the opposite direction so we can do this photo. Okay, everybody, we're gonna stop it here.
Hey.
At a certain point, we can't get it to
Where's the
everybody.
camera? Let's just do this.
Yeah. This is the group. Okay, so where's our photographer standing on the chair? Get on the chair there. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, the other photographer, get on the chair over there. Everyone, we're gonna do that whistle, okay? You think you can imitate his whistle? We're gonna do the Trejo whistle in 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Let's give it up for Danny, everyone. Thank you so much, Danny Trejo.